with Faraz Shaukatali.
And a wonderful morning to you. This is Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And as we prepare the front of our offices for the Wesak Kalape, this morning we have got, in spite of the parking restrictions, we have got with us a young, youthful MP, the face, hopefully, of the future of politics in Sri Lanka, Mr. Harshanat Rajakaruna, the MP from the Gampar district and the UMP organizer for that place, that little place called Dompe. So, good morning to you, Mr. Rajakaruna.
Good morning to you.
And have you shaken it off yet, known as the son of Sarat Chandra Rajakaruna?
Yes, my father was the person who defeated Felix Bandaranaike in 1977. So
that must have been a remarkable achievement.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I wasn't born then, but I've read about it and people talk about it, and it's definitely was the biggest victory in the 77 election, historical election. So
you're a professional man. You've got an MBA. You're educated abroad. You worked in a blue chip, one of the Sri Lanka's largest company. Well, certainly largest quoted company. And why politics?
Good question. I was always involved in politics because of my father.
Right. It was a sort of political household.
It was. I mean, when I was born in 1980, and my father was a member of the Parliament, a deputy minister at that time since 1977.
Right.
So, anyhow, after A-levels, when I was in university, when it comes to an election, I was quite involved to campaign for my father.
Right.
So that's the reason that I got into politics.
So it was a sort of natural progression.
Yes.
But you're a member of Parliament, and how do you view your party's performance thus far?
There's a lot of expectations, so it's a very, very high target to achieve.
Right.
It has been 2 years since the presidential election, almost 2 years since the government we formed. We have achieved quite a lot, but I think things are slow. So we need to, in the next 3 years that we have, we need to accelerate it.
Where do you view the slowness as being? Where is the slowness?
I think in two ways. One thing is that the government officials, they are sometimes quite scared of the FCID and all the other issues that has happened in the past because of those things. So they are very thorough with what they have to do, and they go through all the procedures. So it's naturally it takes a longer time. And also when we're coming from such an authoritative government previously, the previous government, and now it is quite democratic, I think that also takes things longer. Sometimes all these tender procedures, so on, will take naturally a longer time
to fix.
To get things in order. When you want to do it in the right way, it takes longer.
But it appears, Mr. Rajakaruna, it appears that your party also, you're right, they're having difficulty in adjusting it back and straightening it out.
Absolutely.
And we saw that in March 2015. There is a memo sent by the Prime Minister to all ministers and so on, in which it says that as a matter of policy, unsolicited bids should not be entertained, as a matter of policy. And then we find some weeks later that in the terms of a contract for a highway, was re-awarded to the same company that there was a problem with earlier during the hustings, if you like, during the campaign, where this company was accused of being 90% corrupt, 10% work. And yet we found that the same company, no tender, was awarded a road. And there are many instances like that. So is it, how committed is your party, especially your party, because you're going to start from somewhere, how committed is your party towards actually eradicating corruption? Because this claim of that this government is also corrupt continues.
Yeah, I think there are cases where we need to tighten things in some areas, without a doubt. However, unsolicited tenders, though we try as much as possible to do a proper tender procedure. For example, Hambantota project. There are very limited people who are interested, and therefore it is beneficial for the government to work with one particular party.
Yeah.
So there are cases, though we have what do you call a message given from the government to abolish unsolicited bids.
Yeah.
There can be exceptional cases where there's interest in the government.
But Mr. Rajkar, I hear what you say, and I can understand that at certain points there are cases where there's very limited interest because it's a very specialist product, or where the financing is available.
And internationally, we will have to negotiate in such a way, and we might have to accommodate a goodwill towards.
Well, yes, it's not all straight and down the narrow.
Absolutely.
But however, when we have claims, in one particular instance, I'm not going to mention the name, but when the minister claims that, oh, I didn't know that was my son's company, statements like that doesn't help the cause of good governance.
Absolutely, 100% right.
It's not believable. It's not.
I totally agree with you. What we need to do is, when you are saying if there are cases like that, and I'm sure there can be cases like that, then there should be a corrective measure where legal action can be taken.
Well, we had, in the previous government, we had described as the best army commander in the world, who was taken to task after he decided to contest the election, of course, taken to task for being on the same tender committee that supplied D-sized batteries to the army, all because he didn't declare that his son-in-law was one of the bidders. And he served time. He was sent to jail for that and lost his stripes and so on. And here we have a similar situation where it's going on. It doesn't taste good, does it, for good governance?
No, it doesn't. That's exactly why we should, if there is a case, we shouldn't tolerate it. There should be there's a free and fair system now.
Yeah.
So if there is a case or two or whatever, I think there should be actions that should be taken against those people, without a doubt. And I believe there is a far better chance now with the independent judiciary system, where they will be accused, not only accused, they will be named. Yes.
I must come back to, I wasn't going to mention it, but now that you say it, an independent judiciary and so on. We have a case in terms of the supply of coal, where the Supreme Court made some observations about a particular company and the way they had violated the established procedure. And yet we have the Ministry Secretary, in this case Dr. Batagoda, who has advised the Cabinet of Ministers that there is a potential legal suit being launched against the government if we don't give them this particular company the contract to supply coal, although the Supreme Court has made it clear that they were actually in violation of the tender procedure. So it seems that even when the highest court in the land makes an observation, and they don't do it because they've got nothing else to do, they're doing their job, and nobody's taking a blindest bit of notice about it.
That's again the power balance between the parliament and again the judiciary. So
yes, there may well be, but it's the people who vote you in who are suffering.
No doubt in that. There can be a reason behind what the cabinet has made a decision on as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure what exactly the story behind it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the system, that is one-off case. But I believe that what we need to do is, where we have a free and fair system, where if there is some sort of corruption, some sort of doubt, that the system prevails.
Right.
So, like you said, there can be a case or two where there's a power struggle between the parliament as well as the judiciary.
Yeah.
So, or the executive and the judiciary.
Right.
There can be a few cases like that, but most of the time, when you have a free and a fair judiciary system, also these police commissions and so on, independent commissions, you are most likely to get a free, unbiased result.
Mr. Rajkarma, you are the MP, the organizer for the Dompe lecture.
That's right.
And so you are a little bit more closer to what the people are saying. Now, we have had constant concern that this government is not doing enough, quickly enough, on allegations of corruption against the previous administration. And there certainly was corruption. There was all sorts of things. There was the pumping and dumping scandal, where the stock exchange went to great heights, and there is no matter what anybody says, that actually happened. It took place. We have here apparently a loosening of the government's commitment to fight corruption. The Financial Crimes Investigation Unit, almost the dreaded FCID, over 35 cases investigated by the FCID are languishing for want of instructions from the Attorney General. We then have, about a month ago, where it was announced through the Ministry of Law and Order, a suggestion made by them, that cases pertaining to national procurement issues done by the FCID should be transferred to the newly formed National Procurement Commission, backdating it from before the National Procurement Commission came into power. When you add that along with the latest suggestion that the stock exchange investigations done by the FCID are going to be transferred back to the SEC, who has not enough people to investigate anyway, and that is where it came from originally, we then get a picture that the government's fight against corruption is, the shine's gone out of it. Why?
I think the whole judiciary system, not only when it comes to matters of the stock exchange, the whole judiciary system, we need to revamp it. And Mr. Vijaydas Rajapakse is taking steps where we need to have more number of courts, more number of judges. Where, not just a normal case where you file for land or something like would take decades. Would take decades. So, unfortunately, that delay reflects in these main things as well. One of the main promises that we gave before the election was where we said that there's a lot of corruption and we are going to do something about that. And unfortunately, like you said, I totally agree with you that there has been a delay that we are not proud of.
Exactly. What I was going to say to you is that it appears to me that you're in the wrong UNP. You and your wonderful father before you, Sir Chandra Rajkarna, appears to me that you're in the wrong boat. You can't be in this UNP that we seem to think we know, but you're in a UNP that is struggling to deliver good governance and to live up to its image. I don't know, but it appears that you are certainly not. You don't belong in this Ranil's UNP.
No.
Is there another UNP?
Absolutely nothing like that. I mean, my party leader is Ranil Wickremesinghe. I respect him. I believe that he can do something.
So what's the problem with Mr. Wickremesinghe's leadership then? Why is he not be able to, tighten the screws up and deliver?
No, he's doing his best, utmost best. Just that it will take a bit longer than, for example.
But when? After the treasury is emptied?
No, for example, I have to say, now we are about to get the GSP Plus.
Yeah.
It took almost 2 years for us to get that. It's not easy to get back what we lost, just like that.
Yeah.
So it will take time.
Yeah.
The best example is the GSP Plus. It's something that the previous government lost.
Yeah.
And it took almost 2 years for us to get it back. So just imagine it will take another year or two for the benefits to come to the country.
But much of those conditions laid out by the European Union to Sri Lanka is actually something that our politicians should be doing anyway. Good governance and so on.
I
and so on and so
100%
forth.
agree.
Reconciliation. Sorry, but the people in the former conflict areas, whether you like it or not, whichever way you look at it, the picture ain't rosy. Those people continue to suffer. Yes, over 80,000 acres and so on has been private and state land has been released, and current Defence Secretary Karnasena Hettiarachchi has been playing his part, and so on and so forth. Yes, but for the people out there, it ain't fast enough. They don't have housing. Only 2% of the people in Jaffna have got running water, and everybody else has run to the well.
It's not only in Jaffna. We have that.
Well, I know, but
as well, where we don't have water right now.
Yes.
So I agree that I wish things were faster, but it takes a long time. Unfortunately, the procedures, the bureaucracy takes a long time. That's why I said when I started off this conversation that yes, these 3 years we need to really accelerate it. So we have been doing the basics, trying to sort things out, and in the north and the east we have done far more than any government did, I think, when it comes to 2 years.
That's the problem, Mr. Rajakarna. When the yardstick is the past.
No, let me finish.
That's a terrible yardstick to have.
Absolutely, I agree. But however, we have released a lot of private land back to their families.
Yeah.
We have started building houses. We have started doing most of the road infrastructure, electricity, and yes, next one main thing is water. Water takes much longer than road development and other infrastructure. We are having the same problem in Gampa district as well, where we started off where we can't even issue an application form to get a new connection at the moment.
But it is almost unforgivable that the Gampa district is, as you say, it is. Exactly. Because we've had a former president from there, Chandrika Kumaratunga, we had a strong arm, strong man, Basil Rajapaksa representing the area thereafter, and you're now still telling me that those people are facing challenging circumstances on the most basic things.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, that is the reality. And previously they had given connections without the right amount of supply. And there are days, weeks where there's no water, though there is a connection. So now we have started off a new project which will end in 2019. So it takes a long time.
Actually, whilst you're saying that, it's struck me that when you compare the people of Hambantota and the people of Gampa, I think the people of Hambantota are far more lucky, because not only have they had the Rajapaksas, but they've got an absolute delivery-orientated politician in the form of Sajid Premadasa, who's spending day in and day out building houses, giving lands, helping people, and so on. So actually, that's the contrast.
Not only in Hambantota district, he is helping out in the whole of the country. We are doing a lot of housing projects in Gampa district. A lot of housing loans are given.
So have you been lobbying him and telling him to help your people?
Absolutely, he has been in the last couple of years as well.
Right.
And we are doing a quite good job through his ministry.
Yeah.
Yes, he has been wonderful when it comes to handling his ministry. Yes, I agree.
I mean, talking about the development in the north, maybe you're too young for this, but successive governments paid scant attention to diverting some of that Mahaveli waters to the north, which is a crying shame, because had they taken the wide-angled view and not a narrow view, with blinkers on, things would have been much better. Much better.
Without a doubt. I mean, not only when it comes to the Mahaveli issue, we shouldn't have done so many things in the past when it comes to the north and the east.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, what has happened has happened, and we need to rectify this.
But you with your age and your background, and hopefully your popularity from where you come from, because it's the family seat, you are the future of politics in this country, and the future for us, actually. How do you view, is it time for a leadership change at the UNP, or is it too early for that? Who's going to be the next leader?
I think
we need to talk of succession.
Yeah, of course. I think Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has quite young enough to handle a few more years, without a doubt. And yes, he has spoken to us about it. And a few months ago at the group meeting, he has been saying that we need to. He's not planning to stay there forever.
Really? His actions be like that, Mr. Rajakarna?
Yes, I 100% agree. So it's not what you think only.
Right, okay. That's good news. There you go, you heard it first on Newsline. The Prime Minister is actually thinking of succession.
Of course.
As told by
I think he can do another term.
What about the story that Sarath Fonseca will be made a deputy leader of the party?
There was a discussion on that, but we were expecting yesterday at the working committee to bring something to do with that, but I think they have not made a final decision as yet.
No interview with a young politician, especially one who's a parliamentarian, can be complete without me asking you this question, because the viewers want to know, and that is this. You say you have a good leader. Many people say that the UNP has a good leader. But what I want to know, it's nagging, okay? If he's so good, how come the UNP have had to outsource the presidential candidate's position? Why can't it be the leader of the UNP? If he's so strong, and if he's so good, and if he is so firm in his belief and so on, and if he's got those people behind him, why not? Why wasn't he the candidate? Not once, but twice.
Yeah, I think the main reason for that was there was a division in the party at that time. And there was a group that wanted to change the leadership, and that was the reason that we could not go ahead with our own leader as the presidential candidate.
Because that, why do you think that
may be the reason? There can be many reasons.
Yeah.
Was there
any merits, you think?
There can be many reasons.
Did you take a stance during that time?
Yes, I did.
You backed whom?
I didn't back anybody. I always said that there can be only one leader. Whoever the leader is, I'll be with the leader.
Right, so you were backing the party?
Absolutely.
Do you think...
My father has worked with Dudley Sennaika, Jaya Jayawardena, Mr. Ranasinghe Premdas, D.P. Wijetunga, as well as
we solely miss politicians like your dad. We actually do, because they had their own inimitable style. Even when he was sitting in the counting centre chewing betel and making sure that the votes were not, spirited away by others, and so on. But those are politicians of the old. You are the future. And as we transform ourselves, hopefully, into a robust democracy in which everybody is given an equal and equitable place in society, no matter their caste, creed, religion, or any other orientation, that they are all one, that we live in one country, one nation, one people. But it's very, very difficult to achieve that when there are some parts of the country that is almost forgotten, and there are vast tracts of rural Sri Lanka where the people have been forgotten by the politicians, irrespective of that Sinhalese, Tamil, Muslim, Burgher, whatever. I mean, and that is what the Gammata program has revealed. This vast amount of people who have been forgotten.
I mean, me getting into politics from the opposition, staying there as a member of the Western Provincial Council for 6 years, being in government as a parliamentarian, the amount of work that I am able to do is unbelievable. So I believe that there's a lot that we can do, and we have started it. We have done it for the last couple of years, especially when it comes to my electorate. And it's very hard to satisfy everybody. It's not exactly the 100% truth when you come in front of a camera and you ask him. It's very easy to say, oh, the politicians are not doing anything. That's I feel it. I feel sometimes, why should I get into politics? I can do a better job and not be criticized. But unfortunately, I believe that this society is also responsible, where the society also tries to take the good people who's left in politics also away from politics.
Well, that's because the good people are getting fed up, like you've just said. Sometimes you do get these moments of gloom.
I agree.
But do you seriously expect the people not to feel moments of gloom when within the first 12 weeks of this good governance team coming in, they've raped the treasury in terms of the bond? For God's sake, when are people going to think and believe that this is nothing to do with our network and us highlighting this? It's because we represent the people. All over the country, the people are talking about something that went wrong at the central bank. They may not know the niceties of how it was done and so on and so forth. But it's a big story. It's a big fraud.
Whether it's a fraud or not, I hope the presidential
Are you
investigation.
still hoping against all hope that this is not a fraud?
No, nothing like that. I hope, what I was going to say is that I hope the results of the presidential investigation would come up fast.
Yeah. Okay.
So that, you know, we would know what exactly has happened, and if there's anything,
yes,
whoever that is, you know, should be brought to book. No doubt in that.
And along with bringing to the book, we'd like them to bring the money back too.
Absolutely.
You know,
I 100% agree.
And we must, when you do see your leader next, do tell him that his actions with the FCID is giving a serious message to the people that the government is loosening up on its fight against corruption, and we wonder why.
This government, including young members like me, we have been always communicating with the Prime Minister and the President. We believe that most of the population in this country are waiting to see what happened in the previous government, the corruption, what happened there, and we will be pushing for.
They also want to see what's happening to corruption in this government.
I agree.
But Harshna Rajakarna, many thanks indeed for coming on Newsline. We really appreciate it, and it's refreshing to have an open discussion where you're not trying to paint the pictures. Well done. Thank you very much. And it's a great pleasure. Okay. On that note, that's the way it is on Tuesday, the 9th of May, 2017. Take care. God bless.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.